Hello, I'm a horceror. I found out what makes every single killer tick. I need to know more. I've learned all there is to be learned from Killer 1 tricks, one for every single killer. So, I'm going to be talking to those that help shape our community for the better, going from your favorite creators to the people behind the scenes and everyone in between. Welcome to Stars of the Fog. Alright, hello, and welcome back to another episode of Stars of the Fog. It's been a while, so my intro might not be as perfect as it has been in the past, but today's guest is SpookyLoopz, a fog whisperer, a pillar of the community, a ghost face player, a guy that might have gotten me into Dead by Daylight. I don't know. A lot of things. Big guy in the Dead by Daylight community, and I'm kind of fumbling through the actual introduction part for this guy, so I'm just going to let him introduce himself. So, Mr. SpookyLoopz, who are you, and what are you known for?
I am SpookyLoopz. I've been playing the game since 2019. YouTuber, streamer, make a bunch of silly gimmicky videos and stuff like that that have gotten some pretty good views and stuff like that. And yeah, old now. Very old now.
How old is old for you?
I am 38, dude. I am 38 years old, and now I'm a dad too. So trying to stay afloat the best we can, I guess you could say.
I mean, kind of related to being old, but in a week from now of this recording, at least, I'm turning 28. So that's a little bit of a...
Oh, okay. That's a huge win.
Yeah, it came up so naturally. If you want to talk about it, how do you think becoming a parent has even changed how you approach content creation?
Oh yeah. So when I first started doing making videos, because streaming is it's kind of just does its own thing for the most part. When making YouTube content in particular, I would edit all my own videos and make my own thumbnails and stuff like that. And then now I've had to outsource a lot of other stuff to editors and thumbnail creators and stuff like that, because I just don't simply have the time to do everything,
Anyone in particular you want to give a shout out to?
Oh yeah, Shin is my editor. He edits all my my monthly compilation videos. He's done all my hardcore seasons that we've done online, and of course some various random build videos and stuff like that. Codex was a super early starting off small YouTube creator, and I found his thumbnails and I just ran and reached out to him on Twitter and was like, dude, your stuff's so great. I've been using him for 2.5 years now. So it's good because I'm able to obviously, commission somebody and fund them to provide some type of money for, a living, while also giving me the grace of being able to step away from the computer when I need to be a dad and stuff like that. So
W parenting for sure then.
Indeed.
I think you were talking a little bit more about something before I cut you off to ask about who. So
we were talking about being old, right? Is that what we're talking about? Yeah, it's about being old. Well, one thing, big kudos to you for one of my biggest not regrets, I guess, because I think everything kind of happens the way it's supposed to. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But big ups for you for starting, in your 20s. That's one of my biggest things I wish that I did was shit, if I could have went back in time, I could have started doing the whole content sphere of things when I was in my 20s and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because I didn't start till much later. So you're in the right time, man. It's awesome. It's exciting. I'm jealous.
I don't know. I just kind of enjoy making stuff that I haven't really seen before, I guess.
Sure. Yeah.
Just talking about stuff that is in my sphere of input, which is the Nemesis. That's kind of it, but...
The Nemesis, yeah.
Yeah, I make a couple Nemesis videos here and there, you might think.
Sure, yeah.
And that's just kind of what I'm known for, at least. And, this is probably a really obvious question, but, you're pretty known for the ghost face, but
right.
As far as roles go, what role do you mainly play? What character do you mainly play? And is there a reason specifically that you chose that character? Is it a lore thing, an aesthetic thing, a gameplay thing? What is the reason you play what you play?
Okay, so in terms of the Ghostface thing, there's a lot of other Ghostface is incredibly popular, even though he's pretty bad.
Yeah.
But I gravitated to that character because I think at the time when I started playing him back in mid 2019, was he just Myers obviously existed and Wraith and there's other stealth killers like that at the time, but I thought that his kit was kind of unique. There was nothing else that was really like it. So you kind of get to immerse yourself in playing the game in a different approach. You're going to be addressing different macro plays based on, instead of me just hooking somebody and running directly, beelining it to a gen, I may take the extra route and go, off the beaten path a little bit to mark someone from a position where they're not paying attention. I think that's he's one of the only killers that can really provide that kind of stuff. So that's why I liked him. Obviously, he's just, it's Ghostface. He's cool. He's pretty iconic and stuff like that. And fast forward to now, I mean, I play everyone, obviously some better than others in terms of,
yeah, of course.
my hag is very bad and, you know, but there's some killers that I do gravitate towards, like, you know, let's pretend like Jason doesn't exist because, like, obviously he's the new shiny toy. But for me, it's always been like, I like the range stuff. So I like Huntress, you know, I like Springtrap too. And then I like Wesker too. I like killers that have some type of, you know, dash or mobility. And then you have Ghostface, which is that's kind of like my little wheelhouse of things that I enjoy.
Ghostface that doesn't have a dash or mobility,
Yeah. But you know, his gameplay loop is different, right? Like it's completely different than any of the other killers pretty much that are out there. But yeah, that's why I like those three. Those have been like the ones that I've probably invested the most time in. But anyone else, like, you know, like I'll randomly, if we're streaming, I'll randomly go in. Obviously, like with YouTube too, I cover pretty much everybody.
Whatever flavor of the month
play
is.
Them, play them incredibly average. You know, I do okay with them because I think at a certain point, once you like kind of understand like how the game like kind of works, you know, you can kind of just get away with playing anybody for the most part, you know, but those are mine. Anyways.
I mean, yeah, there's like some wholly unique killers, like the nurse doesn't really transfer to anything else, but
Right.
For the most part, powers like have at least some aspect that you can take, like the Xenomorph and the Nemesis have the same little drag mechanic, even though they're also very different killers.
Yeah. Which is interesting about that, because I play a lot of, like, you know, obviously like a lot of the Huntress stuff, like, you know, a lot of those killers like that have, you know, a ranged attack or an ability or whatever it is, like you kind of play them all sort of the same to some degree, right? Like, you know, you obviously want to like prioritize getting somebody locked into an animation. So like all those kind of killers like that, like I can generally, you know, pick up obviously the team I'm playing against pending, and just have a pretty decent time and like, you know, kind of like I'm riding a bike, I guess. Like I play like one Xenomorph game a month maybe, and like I can jump on there and I know exactly what I'm supposed to do, because like the Huntress is kind of similar, right? Like Jason's kind of similar in terms of launching your ranged attack, right?
It kind of depends on if the survivor is wiggly sort of individual or not, but for the most part, you can just be like, well, you're in an animation, so I'm getting the hit here. And as far as power design goes, with like enjoying mobility or a dash or like a range attack, is there a specific like one power design in the game that you think is personally the best? I don't necessarily mean just to play, but like in a well-designed sort of way. When you like look at it, like you put your hand on your chin, you're like, damn, they kind of cooked with this one. Like, what is your favorite power design in the game?
All right, for me personally, I do have like a shooter background too, so like I've been playing like games like Counter-Strike since I was a teenager and stuff like that.
I was checking your profile to see your achievements because I was going to do like a bit later on, and I saw that you had like over 6,000 hours in CS, and I was like, oh, okay, wow, nice.
Like I've been playing like shooters like Counter-Strike or, you know, Team Fortress or whatever, like Quake back when I was, you know, a young lad and all that stuff like that. So I've always really gravitated towards killers that have like ranged or a projectile ability, you know? For me personally, it's a rewarding thing to be able to hit somebody from, you know, from somewhere that is not within striking distance for most killers in the game. And it just feels good. It just feels good to hit somebody from like 20 meters out of a crazy hit or something like that. So those little like dopamine things for me is what I generally gravitate towards and why I like them so much. But then on the flip side, like, you know, I like Wesker. Like he's not Hillbilly or Blight, but like, you know, he has moments where he has, you know, immense bursts of speed, which is a lot of fun as well. I think killers that like move at high mobility to some degree are always going to be a good time, as opposed to traditionally just holding W and chewing through a pallet and having to break it all the time.
Yeah, it's just kind of a M1 killer thing, and there's kind of been that power creep over the years. Like if even recently, like if you compare Springtrap and Jason, like Jason just seems to be like Springtrap 1.5 or even 2.0 at a lot of points.
Just does everything better. And actually, we were actually talking about this yesterday. Well, when I was streaming, and we were discussing this, that I think like the bar has already been set for behavior. That means that like they can never go below that standard anymore. So every single killer that's going to coming forward is going to have some type of like intricate kit or ability. The old standard like mouse one attack, maybe with some other small benefit or some other small power to accommodate that, those days are like long and gone. Like they're not going to come back, because one, if they make a killer like, you know, could you imagine if they like, for instance, like release like Ghostface like now as a great example? Could you imagine if they brought, oh my god, we finally got the Ghostface. The fandom aside, let's say they just released that killer it could have been whatever, it could have been a fucking, you know, a pigeon with pretzel arms, whatever it is that has that ability. One, it's going to get shit on, right? People are going to tear it apart, and it's going to be instantly power crept by everybody else that's came out in the last 2 years, and then it's not going to sell. So why would behavior ever invest the time and manpower into creating something that's bad?
Yeah.
or below that bar, which I find is really fascinating because every killer now is going to have a wheelhouse of stuff. Like if you look at like Art the Clown, because when we were both there, we got to see that in Canada, and you got to see the reveal of it and stuff like that. And the first thing you think of is just like, okay, like, you know, this person from the movies, like, you know, is this maniac that uses an assortment of weapons to, like, you know, hack and saw people in half and stuff like that. What is he going to do in a game like Dead by Daylight when he doesn't really have like any like real power, I guess?
He just pulls out the gun finally.
We just have a Glock. Yeah. My guess is like, because of where we are in the game 10 years later and how the bar has already been set. And even if you bring something as black and white, no pun intended, as Art the Clown coming to the game, he's still going to have probably some type of like assortment of powers. Like, you know, like kind of like, I think it's going to be like a Vecna, like a Lich type ordeal where he's going to have abilities like with the trash bag, and he's going to be able to like pull different things out that all have different things. But you know what I'm saying? Like that's not something that existed 7 years ago, 8 years ago, right?
Yeah, he just had place bear trap, and that was it.
Yeah, that was it.
Different type of bag.
Mm-hmm. So I find that interesting. I find that interesting that like every killer going forward is going to have some type of something. Because what is the most demanding that you think that people enjoy? Like range and like people and killers that move at a high mobility to some degree.
Yeah,
I think that's what we're going to see going forward. To be honest, that's my guess anyway.
Dash slop is probably one of my favorite terms to have ever come from this community. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, what is your take on the Myers stuff? Do you not like Myers? Do you not like what they did with him? The dash slap?
I mean, I didn't really like his first design, but that was just mainly like a tombstone piece thing. But I don't think the second iteration is better.
Right.
Like he's better as a killer, but I think he lost a lot of his identity, like to get to that point. And he just became like tall Chucky.
Yeah. I could definitely see that. One of the redeeming qualities for me is I do like that you can toggle between the two modes. I like that he can retain some type of stealth element. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do think also like having an add-on to leave the previous version in is a really good design decision, even if I don't agree with the rest of it.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree. I was just curious.
I think it's fun to have options on how to play your killer. Must be nice. Not bitter about my add-on selection on the Nemesis, I swear. One day I will get my add-on pass and I will never say anything bad again, but until then, that's just kind of another thing about like power creep. It's like who is going over these old killers and doing anything to them? Because like who plays the Nemesis, you know? I mean, a lot of people apparently. You've seen Nightlight, but
yeah.
There have been so many licenses added to this game. I guess we can go with the most obvious question, like, do you have a favorite license that they've added? And as a follow-up, are you like a fan of horror?
Yes. Oh, yeah. I definitely am a fan of horror for sure. A lot of it when I was younger, I really got into a lot of that stuff. Like, you know, I've seen like all the Child's Plays, Halloween's, all the Jasons and stuff like that.
The classics, of course.
All the classic stuff like that. You know, I've seen some of the newer modern stuff, and you know, I'm a little bit different now, being that I can't really go to a movie theater. But like, yeah, I mean, I'm definitely a horror fan. I find it very fascinating that there's a lot of people that gravitate towards DVD that have never seen, like a lot of creator friends too, that have not seen some of the original stuff. Like I remember Kaido, not to put him on blast, awesome guy. He's never seen Child's Play. And I find that fascinating. But yes, I am a horror fan. For me, like this is gonna sound like I'm just sucking the teat, but like, you know, I've always wanted Jason to come to the game, even though we have this like weird off Timu variant of what he is, and it's not
legally distinct Jason.
Yeah. So, you know, as much as I would have liked to have had, you know, an actual Friday the 13th representation with like, you know, a big map and, you know, having Jason's mom talk to him and stuff like that, I think that would really been cool. I've been asking every single year for this guy to finally come to the game, and I have him, and he's like a stealth killer sort of to some degree, and also is ranged. So that is 100% one that I really enjoy.
It was made for me.
It feels like it sometimes. Yeah, it feels like it does. It's, you know, I've been a big fan of Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th Part 2 is my favorite like slasher movie of all time, and it's exciting. It was cool. So I'm stoked for that kind of stuff.
And was Jason like your number one dream license, or do you have like some other off niche pick as well?
Oh, I have a niche pick. Yeah, I think having a survivor, like since we've kind of already opened the door to like Nicolas Cage, I think having like Danny DeVito or like a Keanu Reeves would be amazing. Not Neo, not like John Wick, like Keanu Reeves, the actor, I think would be really cool.
That does actually bring up another like point about like, oh, the Fortnitification of DBD. I think that's like the opener in my next video that I'm doing. Is like, yeah, a lot of people compare Dead by Daylight to Fortnite because they have all these licenses, and then I went down the list and like the amount of overlap is kind of crazy on like what Fortnite has that DBD has.
Yeah, for sure.
And with that, I kind of want to ask on your opinion on Dead by Daylight strictly adhering to horror and collabs that maybe are less so horror, because there are some that are kind of pushing the line on what horror is. Like, you use Twitter more than once a year.
I do.
Like, I'm sure you've seen some, like, really just out there takes on what people want added. So are you more so like on one side of the line on whether or not they need to just stay strictly horror things, or could it be horror themed, or like a horrifying character from a non-horror media? Like Darth Vader's the biggest one in that regard, I would say. But
Sure. Yeah, I will circle back to that. Like, I think that like a lot of people are afraid of Dead by Daylight losing its identity over time. Where if you add something that's completely just like not like directly horror related, or at least remotely adjacent to like a horror theme, that it's just going to be like perceived negatively. There's a lot of stuff too. I will be honest. Like Tokyo Ghoul, I don't watch any anime. I didn't know what it was. I have no idea. I'm like, okay, this is like the first like iteration of an anime character coming into like a realistic form, I guess, because I don't like I don't watch or read the mangas or anything like that. But then I like looked into it. Like me at first, I think a lot of it comes down to just being oblivious, to be honest. Like or ignorant even. Like I didn't even know what it was, and then I finally looked it up and like, oh, I think these animes are pretty fucking violent, dude. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
But anyways, back to what you're saying is I think horror is a little subjective, to be honest. Like I remember back when Cold Wind got like its rework and it was like daylight and everyone was super like turned off by it at first. And I think because it doesn't have to always be like this dark, ominous, foggy location, when horror can obviously like happen when the sun's out. You know what I mean? Like being in a decrepit farm, when you have some maniac out there in the corn, you're running through corn stalks, stuff like that. So I think that like that's a good example as to why it's subjective and what people define as scary or horror, and some that do and don't. We've already also kind of maybe crossed that line a little bit already with like I said, like back to like the Nicolas Cage thing for the most part, because I know he's done like Long Legs in like recent times, and I'm sure some other he's done like a million. He does like 8 films a year, so I'm not like up to speed with all the Nicolas Cage stuff. But when you think of Nicolas Cage, he wasn't like I wasn't instantly going like, okay, this is like a horror icon. This is like the guy. That's a part of that kind of stuff like that. And again, it could just be ignorance. It could just be because I'm not educated enough with what he's done in the past. But I think we've already kind of like opened that door a little bit. Again, I don't play in the Tomb Raider stuff, but I don't think if you told me at surface level, do I think Lara Croft is from a horror or scary franchise? I don't think so.
Not really, no.
And to my recent learning, like Dungeons and Dragons, like I don't play D&D. I know there's a lot of people like in that like also enjoy Dead by Daylight and also like partake in like campaigns and stuff like that. But I didn't think like Vecna and like the bards were really scary, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But people are saying, hey, like the campaign is like whatever you make it. If you have a good DM, they can, like write that narrative however they want to do it and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess that makes sense, So, I mean, like, did you do the recent survey that we had? Did you look at that by chance?
I have not yet, no, but I saw that a lot of things on it were
yeah.
interesting, at least. Like, I think I saw something about Drake, and they don't have Teletubbies on there anymore.
Yeah. So they have like, this is a good example because also I'm going to lie to you. The list looks like it's just compiled with like from AI. It looks like it was something that was just like, hey, what are like the top 100 like most talked about like, IPs out there at this moment. Like they had Harry Styles as a license. They had Machine Gun Kelly as a license. They had Care Bears, like a lot of stuff that's just kind of like, okay, like what are we doing? What is this?
Yeah, exactly. What are we doing?
So I think it's just kind of like we're gauging the room, I guess, just to kind of see like, hey, like it's to be good data to have. But until they actually add something in the game, because like realistically, everything is, I think they've stayed on the line of being horror adjacent to some degree.
Yeah.
The exception of like, like Lara Croft and stuff like that. As long as I think it has like some type of like intimidating or scary undertones, like I think it'll fit like within Dead by Daylight. When you start bringing in like, I don't know, man, like if you start, what's an idea here that would probably start doing like the Darth Vader thing? Like I'm a little biased to that because I'm a big Star Wars guy. Like I know that Star Wars is not like rudimentally like a horror like franchise. It's like, obviously like a sci-fi space opera, right?
Yeah.
But does that mean that Darth Vader is not intimidating like in a different way? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I could definitely see him working because like I have trust in behaviors. Like
Sure.
one of the main things that I think they're actually kind of good at is like taking a character and making it work in Dead by Daylight. Opinions on balance and meta and like actual strength notwithstanding, of course, but like obviously. But for the most part, with the licenses they get, I feel like they implement them really well in a way that like fits the character type of deal. Nemesis notwithstanding.
Yeah, I think so. I agree.
Like Pyramid Head's whole thing is like that's a behavior OC. Like he does not do any of that in his game, like at all.
Yeah.
Like that's just behavior, and you're like, oh yeah, that's Pyramid Head. Like that makes sense to me, absolutely.
Right.
So like if they were to get like a Darth Vader, like I think they could cook with it.
Yeah, I think so.
It's also one of the things that I wouldn't be like, this is in my top 5. Like it would be like okay,
sure,
we had a bunch of original stuff and now we're getting this like cool license that everyone's been asking for that like kind of pushes it a little bit, but you guys were good this year, so whatever.
Right. I agree with you. I mean, like, you know, obviously, like I'm a fan of like that franchise. Like, would it tickle me a little in my fancy in a certain way if I seeing, you know, Darth Vader in the game? Like, sure, you know, like it's kind of just having like, you know, two worlds collide. You know, would it be something that is like approved by everybody? Probably not. It would probably be received with some pushback and stuff. But I think that's kind of like where people are kind of drawing the line, because I don't think like Darth Vader is like that far out there, like from like a Lara Croft, to be honest.
Yeah,
I don't think so, in my personal opinion, you know. But then again, like this could be a thing where like, you know, ignorance is bliss, where I just don't play the Tomb Raider games and I don't know, is like Liz Lara Croft like always going in these little spooky, creepy caves and looking for whatever, you know, raiding tombs and shit. Like I don't know.
she does raid tombs, I've heard.
Yeah, I heard she does. And maybe in that pendulum goes the other way too, where like you look at it like for somebody that's not doesn't know anything about the source material about Star Wars and like how scary like Darth Vader could be, you know, that's just, I think it goes both ways. But yeah, I mean, eventually they're starting to do things like which we saw like with Scooby-Doo. Like, you know, it's not a chapter. I don't think it is. I think it's just going to be a collection thing. I don't think that's a problem where like you can kind of bring in small things like that, like pop culture stuff that kind of resonates with like horror. Like, you know, obviously Scooby-Doo is not like, you know, it's made for kids. You know, it's like an old 60s cartoon or whatever. I think that would probably be okay. Like with doing stuff like that, like just having off the wall collections out of nowhere, that would work.
They're like themed on something rather than like,
yeah, themed. Yeah.
Hey, here's literal Daphne Blake.
Right.
Because I know their license holders are like, well, we don't really want our Scooby-Doo characters to be getting put on meat hooks. And like,
sure. Yeah,
I can get that, you know, like it's a little out there.
Yep.
Because I would say Scooby-Doo in general is very much so like horror light, because it's like, here's the bad guy, they're doing bad things, we unmask them, oh my god, it was an actual person. And then there's just like the crazy movies like from my childhood where they just like throw that out the window. It's like, no, there's literal zombies.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree.
Like, okay, it's like baby's first horror.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think like people like it's a little bit easier. Like those kind of stuff gets more of a pass, or it's more easily digestible or accepted if it's coming in terms of like a cosmetic angle, as opposed to like, hey, you've waited 3 months for new content. Here you go. Now you have fucking Scooby-Doo running around with, like you said, Daphne or whatever.
Yeah.
And some random like dude under a fucking sheet as a ghoul or whatever running around as a kid. I don't know. Yeah, it's just
off topic. I do wish we got the Myers under a sheet as a skin. That would have been really good.
I agree. Sure. Halloween game's gonna get that, I would imagine. I would assume they'd be foolish if they didn't do that.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I mean, I always make that back to what you originally said when you first asked the question. I make that reference all the time. I think that DVD is the Fortnite of horror for sure, and it kind of is, like, to some degree.
Yeah, it is like also the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, for sure. They're trying to collect them all, you know, and anything that is going to be popular, that is in the realm of what they can get their hands on, I think they're going to do. You know what I mean? That's kind of what gives the game relevancy. Because like, when do we get like the big spikes in player base with the, you know, in terms of chapter stuff? Is majority of it is coming from licensed stuff. Like you're not seeing, you know, Houndmaster breaking stream charts.
Yeah, because I think like in order for our last 3 peaks, it was like Nemesis's release. Then it was Springtrap's release, and then it was Jason's release during the 10th year anniversary. Like that was the bang, bang, bang. That was the last 3.
Yep.
All licenses, as you said. And that kind of brings up the point of like Dead by Daylight and doing licenses, because obviously they need to make money. They're a company, like duh. But for you, at least, do you prefer original or licensed content? Like, I know at the Montreal event that we were both at, Shane's release got a lot of applause. It was Dead by Daylight's first Indigenous Canadian survivor, I believe.
Right.
And that was like a big deal for representation, because representation does matter. But
Absolutely.
and that's an original character. The Unknown was probably like the best marketing campaign Behavior's ever done.
Agreed.
Like bar none.
Agreed.
And those are originals, right? And like this new killer,
The Judgment.
The Judgment is also going to be an original. It's made by the community design wise. It's looking pretty good from what they've shown us. And all of this stuff is like Behavior originals instead of just licenses. And I do think that they cook with licenses, don't get me wrong, but with their originals, I would like if they did more, because I really like their original stuff when they actually are open to making something new, you know?
Yeah, to answer your question, like for me personally, I like the hype that some of the license stuff gives, like the community. People get really excited about that kind of stuff. In terms of like from a gameplay aspect, I think I enjoy original stuff more because it's really sky's the limit. They're not really shackled to like whatever the license holder wants them to do. They don't have to stay within a certain parameter of what the killer's character's, ability would be, without breaking the foundation of what made that character in whatever the original content was, right?
Yeah.
So like you can't, like you said, like Pyramid Head, you can't have like him, flying around and shit like that or whatever. So I like the original stuff, like, I know the twins, like have fallen off. Like I think Lynxie is the only one holding that entire foundation together with a string. But if you kind of like take a step back and all the stats and stuff aside, like think about how cool that must have been in the designing phase. Like, hey, we're gonna have a thing where you can pilot two killers, at different times, where they can be in two different places.
Yeah.
It's never been done before. It's very innovative, which is really cool. Sadly, was, when you do something that's, I think, new, it has never really been proven or tested before, and like with previous iterations of chapters, then it can either go good or really, really bad. And unfortunately, in this case, like nobody really cares for the twins. But I think like in the design phase of that, like they like how creative they were able to be with something completely original, as opposed to, hey, Jason needs to have a spike and Chichi Mama all over the place and stuff like that. So
yeah, it's like, hey, we're releasing Blight 2, or hey, we're releasing this thing that has literally never been done before. And like,
sure,
there's always going to be people like, well, actually, they have this part of this killer, this part of this killer, this part of this. It gets to a point where there are going to be at least some similarity. Like,
absolutely.
If you really wanted to, you could compare any killer to any killer. So, like, let's just say the twins and the Unknown, right? Like, they're both body horror to a degree, right?
Yeah.
There will be something to compare everything to, because that's just how comparisons work, if you really want to try.
Yep. Here's a great example when people say that kind of stuff, like, oh, like this is just a recycled version of this. Like, obviously Dracula being like the biggest culprit, to be honest. He's kind of like obviously got a mashup of a bunch of things that have already existed in the game.
Yeah.
But okay, look at the Judgment. Like I was invited with a few other creators to like kind of play super duper early like version, like prototype of the Judgment. Like there's no placeholder model. Like none of the models textures are done like that, with the exception, what I will say, with the exception of like the ray, I think it's like the Ray of Retribution, or I can't remember what it's called.
It's not out yet. We don't know.
Yeah, it has a beam that like you can essentially like launch it. It starts like when you first launch it, it's slow, and then it goes super duper fast.
Yep.
Like you're gonna have some like elements of like things that already go like phase through walls, like an Execution or Punishment of the Damned, or maybe even a Hellfire. That's like obviously like those things are kind of similar. Though the difference with the Judgment is it's kind of like a map wide thing. Like that thing just like flies across from like one end of the map to the other. But even like the biggest thing, when you down a survivor that has sinned, you can send them to exile, and that's just that whole idea is just something that has been recycled from the Halloween event. The point I'm getting at is like this is something that was created by the community, which I find really fascinating. That a lot of people say like, oh, this just recycled this, recycled that, when
everything is derivative of something else. That's just kind of how art works.
Absolutely.
Like even if you make a beautiful painting after living in the mountains by yourself, like someone else has seen a view of a mountains or like a sunset or something. Like people just kind of underestimate how many people are on this planet. Like there's you and me, that's 2, and then multiply that by 4 billion or something.
Right.
Like
yep.
You might have had the same thought as someone else at some point in time,
Yeah, but there's only one you, man. Okay, give yourself some credit.
Remember that.
There's only one you. Yeah. So yeah, that's I don't know, that's my take on that stuff. And I mean, again, like we can kind of like that can kind of segue into like back what I originally said, where I think the bar has already been set. And now like if your bar is already set to where it is, anything else coming after that, like what do you do? you know, like let's say you're the developer of the game, the designer of a new chapter, a new killer. What do you do that's like going to be groundbreaking, that's never been seen before? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like if you try to release the Wraith in current day, like the Dead by Daylight community will just skin you alive. So
Sure.
And that too could be an Art the Clown reference now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, we're 2 for 2 on that one. There you go.
Yeah, not even like trying, it just happens.
Yep.
I guess you could say there's an art to that.
All right, that's enough, Dan. Yeah, so yeah, interesting stuff. You know, we'll see. I'm curious to see what's going to happen. Also, like, here's another thing as well too. Like, you know, did you play Casting of Frank Stone? Did you get a chance to play that game?
I did get a chance to play the Casting of Frank Stone.
Okay.
Not because I spent $40 on it, but because the Steam family sharing is really good, and I would recommend people use that feature more if you don't already.
Yep, there you go. I think what is the champion gonna do? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what is Frank Stone?
I still remember the whole like thing where it's just like, oh, he's just gonna be added as a trapper skin, and the backlash they got for that was fucking insane.
And rightfully so, to be honest. Rightfully so. I thought like the Frank Stone shit would be like the easiest layup filler chapter we've ever gotten. Like, oh, here you go, boom, it's done.
Yeah, like
you know what I mean?
They literally, he has a power in the game. Like, he is just a killer. And like, spoilers for the Casting of Frank Stone if you care, humble viewer. Like, the end of the game is literally just him at the campfire. Like, he's ready in lore too, and he's supposed to be like the first killer. Chop chop, get to it. And it's been announced now, but like, sometimes that there are some decisions made by behavior that just baffle me.
Yeah.
And that's not on any one person, but like as an entity, as an entity, behavior just baffles me sometimes.
Yeah, I agree, dude. Yeah, I'm curious. Like, what is, because, you know, if we're staying on the topic of like, you know, with like killers with recycle powers, stuff like that, like, what is the champion going to do that's not a teleport? I doubt it's going to be arranged. I don't know. I have no idea. I played the game once, so I mean, did I miss something? Like, does he just like eat people like through his chest cavity or something like that? And he's got a big old scary weapon. I can't really remember.
He like turns into a green ghost.
He turns into a ghost. Oh, okay. Does he? Yeah, I think he does. It's been a minute since I played it.
Yeah and no. Like, it's very much like spirity, I would say.
Okay.
In like the closest way, except like the phasing would be a green ghost, but you can only see the ghost if you have like a camera. I played this game like years ago, so I'm sorry if the details are a little foggy.
Okay.
But like, I don't know. I mean, I assume the designers for the killer in Dead by Daylight would have played the game more times than I have, so
hope so.
They probably know more than I do.
Yeah. Let's hope so.
Yeah, I just think design is so fascinating in DBD. When it comes to killers or even just mechanics or perks or, you know, gameplay or how the game has evolved over the years. I think one of like the biggest questions I guess I have for you is like, so being an ex-Fog Whisperer because the program got sunsetted, and just kind of being one of those like pillars of the community or the old guard of DBD, like, how do you feel the game has changed over the years that you've really been playing it? And like, do you think there's been bits that have been particularly better or worse? And really, what has like kept you with Dead by Daylight for as long as you have been playing it and making content on it and being a humongous part of the community?
It's a loaded question, man. Let me think. So the Fog Whisperer thing is, that's pretty much what the creator program is. It's like pretty much almost the same thing. It's just like you're just an ambassador for the game. You talk about the new content. They give you stuff to, you know, tools and things you need to like be able to make more content to, obviously at the end of the day, is to bring more awareness to the game and stuff like that and promote whatever it is. So that's what that is. In terms of like, do I think like the game has gone a certain way? It's definitely evolved for sure. Like it has to. Like I don't think that like it can remain stale in the way that it was. But then that brings up another problem is like, because the game is you know, essentially so tribalistic at times with the community. It's like, what do? You can't cater to one side without affecting the other, right? Or like making big drastic changes.
Yeah.
Over like the last like few years, it definitely seems that they have prioritized like the majority experience, which is like the survivor role, because there's just simply more players that play survivor, I think. And they may have done that. I think it was around Springtrap, because obviously like the Five Nights at Freddy's fandom is ginormous. And I think they wanted to bring things in so new players would like maybe hit the ground running and not like, you know, have tools at their disposal. It wasn't that big of a blow when they got like camped or tunneled or whatever the case is. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that's about the time when they were kind of like increased the hook timer, and then they also introduced the anti-camp mechanic. I think so. I could be mistaken. But yeah, I mean, that shit didn't exist, back in when I first started playing it in 2019. And like, you had to bring that stuff. You had to, you could literally, as a killer, just like, you can hook somebody and like, obviously sit in their face and that was it. Hook grabs were a thing. So like, you had 2 people for a save, like always.
Yeah, and then you could just like face camp with Cannibal, and I will say, like, don't get me wrong, I think like some of the more recent updates to the Survivor experience are like, what are we doing? But like removing hook grabs, S-tier update, and then like adding base kit borrowed time, because if you did not play like way back in the day, getting unhooked, like you could just get fucked.
Oh yeah.
Like if your unhooker did not have borrowed time and they unhooked you and the killer was there, they smack you, you go down, instantly you're hooked again, like within 2 seconds.
Yes.
Like, they don't even have to 2-tap you. Like, you were genuinely just vulnerable. Like, that was despicable. Like, I remember a game where I had, like, a teammate, and I got farmed off hook, like, twice in a row. They didn't have BT, and I just instantly died within, like, 10 seconds.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, it was very different. Everything was different, man. Like, I don't know, like
they didn't even have looping back in the day.
I mean, I'm not talking like patch 1.0 day 1, but 2 fucking shack windows and shit like that. But
oh yeah, I know.
So I came to the game like kind of late, like 3.5 years after it came out. But yeah, I mean, like it's kind of hard to remember certain things like outside of like very surface level stuff, because like you're just so used to what the game is now that like if you were to tell me like, oh, what was it like playing Dead by Daylight 6-7 years ago? Got it. 7 years ago.
Shut up, man. Yeah.
Like, what was it like? And like, I can't even tell you, with the exception of like looking at and remembering like the big bullet points. Like, oh yeah, like there was no like borrowed time, like for free. There was no haste. Decisive Strike was like an actual legitimate 60-second insurance policy because
it didn't deactivate if you did gens. Yeah.
It didn't deactivate. Yeah, you just fucking sit on it. You know what I mean? Just sit on a gen, and that kind of shit existed. And I don't know, man. It was just different. And now, okay, like behavior's like starting to make like big changes. Like the player base is getting bigger. They've added a lot more licenses since like 2019 when I first started, or even like from the very beginning. Like look how much it is. Like it's a well-oiled machine. So now I think they have to identify like, okay, like what is going to keep the majority of the player base and also the people that are paying for shit happier. So
little slip of the tongue, but the payer base is pretty good too.
You know what? That works too. Payer base. That's what it is. And call me a fucking glazer, but like this is just facts. Like at the end of the day, like that's a business. I understand why it happens, but it feels bad for a lot of other stuff because like the game does hold hands to people. You know what I mean? It does.
Yeah.
This is what it is. I mean, like if you just look at it in a vacuum, it is literally just like, hey, like we've increased this, we've added anti-camp, we've added the increased borrow time duration and with haste and the slugging stuff. Like there's a lot of things, and I wish I brought this up in my anxiety video, but what I find it's really fascinating for a game like Dead by Daylight, where the whole lore is the entity wants the survivor to suffer. They do a really bad job.
They kind of protect them a lot, yeah.
It protected them a lot, right? Like, you know what I mean? It's just because it's interesting, you know what I mean? But like, what do you do? Like, if you make it so that, like, could you imagine, like, if they're like, you had to bring BT in 2026? You know what I'm saying? Like,
outside of like a niche unhook build, yeah.
Yeah, like, and they didn't have anti-camping stuff, and they didn't have the hook grabs are still there. Like, obviously, like that power shift sways back into the killer role for sure. But they're the minority at that point, I think. Because there's just so many more people that play Survivor.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, like as a nowadays mainly killer player, at least, I would like the role to be stronger, but I don't want it to be stronger in like a cheese way, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Because a lot of the time when I'm playing hit game Dead by Daylight, I haven't for a little bit, just because like I made my video on reworking the Nemesis, then I had the other one that you resonated with, where like I got delied in Endgame, and I was like, it kind of sucks actually.
Yeah.
And then I went to Montreal, and then I stayed with my girlfriend, so I was gone for like a month and a half, so I still haven't like played Dead by Daylight again yet.
Okay.
But like maybe this changed in the last 2 months. I don't know. I kind of doubt it though. In 95% of the times, and this isn't cope, I swear to God, 95% of the times that I lose the game, it's not because I lost to someone like outplaying me or outskilling me or like looping really well. It's just like, okay, they have like an insane amount of perks that they can just like run me over with.
Sure.
Like times that by 4, and it's like, I'll go fuck myself.
Yeah. I mean, that outcome definitely exists for sure. I mean, again, like I think the good majority of folks probably do win like a majority of their games, like in an anytime session, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and the ones that you do lose, like for me, like you'd be outperked for sure. And if you pair that with like with a team that like obviously like is experienced and knows what they're doing and knows, you know, when to utilize and get the most, squeeze the most value out of said perks, like yeah, it's going to be a bad fucking time for anyone that's not Nurse or Blight. Like this is how it is. So the whole thing I find really fascinating is I just look at like competitive DVD, like and like the rule set that they have, because like they understand like, you know, that shit's the Wild West in pubs, right? Like it is.
Yeah.
Like I remember I was interviewing when I did a comp video forever ago, and I was talking to like Nightlight and Laser and all stuff, and Laser said a really good point. And he says like public games and Dead by Daylight is just a battle of who can bring the more busted shit. That's what it is.
I have heard that a lot. I didn't know it was a Laser quote specifically.
I mean, it could have been said, but yeah, I mean, maybe.
I mean, it might just like pass around. I don't know, but
Sure, yeah. But I mean, that's it kind of is, you know, it kind of is, but like.
That's also possible.
There was somebody, I was watching them stream earlier today, actually, and they had said, they made a comment like shoulder the burden. And they were like, what do you, like, when's the last time Killers had like a really like busted thing that was like really problematic? And I actually had to think about it. I was like, oh, probably like old, like, you know, probably not like original, but probably like updated Eruption, you know, like with incapacitation, stuff like that. That's up there.
Oh my God. The incapacitation Eruption was awful. Yeah.
That's up there. That's up there with shoulder for sure.
That's also in like the whole like Skull Merchant 1.0 directly into Night, directly into Singularity. Like,
right.
Just, I'm going to hold this 3-gen forever.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what happened to that? They patched it out.
Yeah, it's fascinating. It is interesting because you look at that stuff. Yeah, like okay, like you know, Skull Merchant got like she got put in the fucking toilet and flushed, dude. Like poor Pixel Bush, that poor guy, man. Like I don't know how he does it, but
he's been playing Crossy recently. Actually, he's been liking her.
Oh, I mean, okay, well, I guess that's an improvement. I guess, yeah, but
yeah.
So like, yeah, that's a great example. Like they obviously know they can identify with what the majority is not enjoying, right? Or if it is deemed problematic, so they fix it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think where a lot of like the grief, like and the stress comes from is people like saying like, hey, like why this? I think you guys went a little bit overboard on too many of these like these cushion mechanics. Like, will you address that? And that's what people are upset about, I think. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, I know this was kind of the point of your whole killer anxiety video.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
And a big reason as to why people don't really, but I think the game would genuinely be healthier if both killer players played more Survivor and vice versa, because it's hard to judge the content of the box when you're inside the box, you know?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I mean, like, sure, but that, you know, it's not gonna happen. Like,
yeah, I know.
It's a nice, it's wishful thinking. It's a nice thing because I think like when you play both sides, like it doesn't have to be equally, but I think like if you have if you're like a good survivor and then you start playing killer, and you can kind of appreciate like different grievances on both sides, so that maybe you can advocate for something that's a little more balanced for like the game's health entirely, as opposed to just being unique to one certain side of the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like actually making a compromise instead of here's my every survivor starts with 1 hook perk for killer.
Right.
That'd be a little crazy.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think that, again, like it makes sense. And I mentioned in the video that like the game is like designed to put a heavier workload on killer. Like that totally makes sense. It's just, I feel like it's just that on top of like, oh, also you need to care about this, and you also have to maintain this, and then also deal with all these things that we're giving the other side just for free for existing that you have to play around, that I think a lot of people get overwhelmed with. And it may even push them away. Like all the toxicity aside from the game, people just being complete fucking dickheads, just in general, just like the overall, just like what is required of some person to play. Because like if you look at it, those kind of like games that are like you have to sweat your fucking ass off and you're fighting uphill the entire time, and you finally squeak out a 3K or some shit. Like when game's done, you guys say your GGs and you go back to the lobby, do you sit back and go, fuck, that was a blast? Like, did you get any dopamine from shit like that? No.
Well, at the time, it just feels like I'm fighting for my life, yeah.
Yeah, dude, like on those kind of games. Like, yeah, like, you know, for me, like, you know, if I hit like a cross map, like a big fucking spike with Jason, like I'm like, oh man, that felt good. I like that kind of stuff. Or I get a good mark, or I, you know, whatever. It's just like, I think like the games that are really tough where you feel like you're like, no matter what you do, you're always going to be behind, or like the game is already lost, I think resonates with a lot of people, and that's why they just leave the game or they just stop playing it. stop playing killer or whatever. And I don't know, what do you think? Do you think it's an effect of their design, like by making it so that like obviously making the workload just essentially harder?
Yeah.
Depending on who you're playing, that's also important too, right?
Who you're playing definitely matters a lot, because I know I say this a lot, but I'm the Nemesis guy, guys. I play the Nemesis. The one killer in the game that just like has 24/7, like I have 2 dickheads in the trial with me, so I'm not alone. Do they do anything helpful? Jury's out on that one. But like that does unironically like handle a good bit of the mental load, because I can just blame my zombies like no matter what, and then I don't have to really like worry about it.
Yeah, okay.
And then I also saw this like tweet the other day. I don't remember who it's from. Like maybe I'll find it. It'll be on screen here if I do. But it was saying something along the lines of like why killer feels so bad to play right now, and it was because like as a killer, if you make one mistake you lose, and survivors can make mistake, and it doesn't really matter because A, there's 4 of them, and then B, there's perks to just back it up.
Sure.
And like you can kind of make the same argument for killer, but like
how would you though? I'm curious. How could you make this? How is this be comparable?
Am I going into the mind of a survivor to be like, oh well, killers can make plenty of mistakes? Well, killer takes no skill because you can just slap on 4 slowdowns and win every game. But the thing about slowdown is that you have to get hooks.
Yes.
And then if you were taking 4 slowdown perks, you have no info perks. And then like you actually have to play the chases and outskill someone. Like you have to get the down to get the slowdown, rather than just like I do gen slightly better now for free.
Yeah, with the exception like deadlock, I guess. Intervention, sometimes it's very passive. Like, yes, you have to do the work to get paid, right? Like that's just how that works. Yeah. So I get it.
And there's gonna be like, examples of everything if you look for it. It's like, oh well, this perk just automatically gives you more value. And like, yeah, but for the most part, like they don't do that. Like you have to actually earn it.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big part of like my gripe with the design of Dead by Daylight is just kind of like a lot of stuff feels free when I would like it to be worked for. Like I think the really good perk designs are ones that you have to earn type deal. Like stuff like Fast Track where it's like a teammate gets hooked, right? I don't think Fast Track was well designed, but I like the gist of where the design is coming from, because something has to happen to get it. Right.
Well, something negative happened, right? Essentially, right?
Well, yeah, something negative. But like, if it was something like, I don't know, like last a certain amount of time in chase and then do something else, like Quick Gambit, even. That's also a perk that is just like passive, you don't have to think about it. And it just it goes into the whole like game design thing and MOBA design thing and every design that has spells or whatever. It's like you have passives and you have actives, and I would like more actives than passives.
I agree. I think that would bring a little more balance in terms of health to the health balance to the game. If you were to do things like that, you would see a lot more like people that like get rewarded. Like I think it would maybe soften the blow. Like if you had a perk that was like inherently strong and that activated, like that they didn't just get for free or just for simply existing. And then if you were on the receiving end of that powerful perk, you'd probably be like, oh well, fuck. Well, I mean that makes sense. They had to do X, Y, and Z for this to work. You know what I mean?
I mean they earned it, yeah. So
maybe that could definitely help too. That's an interesting topic for me. I want to kind of circle back on what you were saying about like these like survivors and killer like which side like obviously can make more mistakes or whatever. And like it is true. Like at the end of the day, like you have
one person versus 4, yeah.
Correct. 1 person versus 4. Like there's only so much leeway. There's almost so much slack that you can cut yourself when you're playing killer before you start tremendously falling behind. Like here's a good example. Like I play survivor, like not nearly as much as I play killer. Like I do like I stream like 5 days a week. I do like maybe like 7 to 8 hours a week and survivor. Sometimes longer depending, like, because obviously the play while you wait stuff allows me to play more. Like there's times where, dude, like I'll go on my first chase and like I'll like just fumble super hard and like instantly go down in like 15 seconds. And then like my team's just like dicking around, like opening chests and like fucking around with flashlights. And then I'll get hooked again shortly after. And then we finish 1 gen and then I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh man, we're at 4 gens. Like what the fuck? You know what I mean? What's going on? Like my team is just like fumbling everywhere. And then all of a sudden, like maybe I'll go on a chase and like I'll just find a good setup and I'll go, and then we are able to turn the game back around. Like look how many mistakes that have happened, and we still were able to pull out a 4 out, or 3 out, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Like we should no way. Like, but again, can you just like chalk that up just a skill issue on the other side? Like I don't know. When I play like in the small amount of time I played in competitive like DBD, like there's the whole DBD like ranked Discord and stuff where I get to play against people that like actively participate and like play the game to the best of the best of their abilities. Like those games, like the survivors know, like if the game's over, like there's something they can do to win. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like in terms of like, because the killer is actually skilled. And if they play like in pubs
It's the Wild West out there.
You fucking knows, man. Yeah, dude, who knows? You're one Hail Mary away from fucking winning the game. It's all it takes sometimes, but I think people that say things like, oh, killer is like easy mode and killer can make more mistakes than survivors can and still win. To some degree, that may be true, but also I don't know, it goes both ways. Like the only time like a killer can come back from a rudimentally super fucked scenario is if they other side tremendously and royally messes up. That's the only way.
Yep.
That some games like that happens, right?
Yep.
So those are scarce and the gifts from God. But majority of the time, like if you fuck up on a bad first chase, which happens, like ego, I do that shit all the time. Where I'll sit there and be invested for 90 seconds. I've lost 3 gens, and I go, fuck, dude, what do I do now? Do I break away from this chase to go pressure somebody else that's just started a fresh gen? The person I just got done chasing for a minute and a half is just going to get reset and jump on a gen. That's like the feeling of, and then you look around the map, and you're like, well, fuck, all my gens are forever away. Like this is the GG. Like I've already lost. You know what I mean? Because of that one mistake.
Yeah, and then they just walk into you like 4 times and then you win. So
sure.
Like I've literally won games because I was like chasing someone else. I'm like, oh, the game's over, and then the death person just appears in front of me. I'm like, oh, hi, and then I can kill them and turn it around. It's like, well, they fucked up. But I didn't really like win,
Yeah, it's definitely it's yeah. You didn't like essentially outclass the other side, and you're all right. It doesn't like really feel super rewarding, I guess. But there's like certain scenarios too where like you'll like play killer and like not even see it a good first chase and like you down them, but they just like emote at a pallet, and then like you got somebody you got somebody nearby, and then they just like use Unbreakable or pick themselves up if they leave a select for too long, or they get a pallet stun, and then like the whole chase or like, the whole like thing restarts again, or like you get fucking like dead hearted and it just extends the chase for fucking 30 seconds or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think there's perk stuff that also like exacerbates like the workload that somebody has to do, like makes like that one mistake sting that much more if they have other strong shit to accommodate, like to keep the chase going or to extend their time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's kind of, I don't agree with that. I think that killer obviously has less room for mistakes. That's not me trying to be like, tribalistic or anything like that. I just think that is fundamentally true.
Yeah, just because 1 is less than 4, basic math, I think.
Sure. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I think every DVD player can admit 1 is less than 4.
Yep.
Numerically, right?
Yeah. Hope so.
And that's kind of been like the negative side of DVD. And in an attempt to lighten it a little bit more, I kind of want to ask you like something deeply personal and meaningful to you.
Okay.
Because like as a big member of the community, you've obviously been a big part of like everything. So like all the time that you spent, all the events you've attended, charities you've been a part of, tournaments you've been in, comp you've done, whatever. Like, do you have a number one most memorable experience in game that you think about from time to time and you're like, yeah, that was pretty awesome. That was my favorite thing. A memory you cherish.
Oh, in that is in Dead by Daylight.
Or Dead by Daylight, like related. Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, like, I'll give you this example, then I'll try to find another one. But like, I met Toki through this game.
That's awesome.
And then I was able to like, we were long distance and we were both streamers, and we, obviously we closed that bridge and made it somewhere where we can experience each other in real life all the time. And then, fast forward 6 years and now we're engaged and we have a kid. And that's probably my best memory of DBD. Like, cause I remember, seeing her for the first time, and it's just crazy to think like how far things have came because of this. Like if I was could you imagine if I was like a Rocket League streamer? Like that that timeline doesn't exist. You know what I mean?
I think you just lose all your charisma at that point, right?
Yeah.
No flag to Rocket League streamer. I don't know any of them, but like
yeah. Other things outside of like that's a big one for me. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Of course, yeah.
But in terms of like other things, like I would say like being recognized by people that like I started watching and like idolized and looked up to and shit like that, But yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. It's just like the small things, like being able to like, what am I like? I guess it's a blanket statement, but like one of the things that was kind of difficult for me to like really understand because I'm just a guy just behind 3 monitors yelling in front of in a room by myself, but is just like the fact that like there's some people that have said things like, oh, like like your videos or your streams have helped me get through X, Y, and Z, or this dark time I was in, and I really appreciate you being there for me when nobody else was, and like that kind of stuff. At first I was like, wow, like it seems kind of odd. Because I don't like really, I don't know what I'm doing that's providing that. And then I kind of realized that like, sometimes people, all they have is just themselves, maybe they find, that little break from reality by to have a laugh or, pay attention to a little silly video. Maybe that's just enough to get them through that day, so that kind of shit.
Yeah. You're like the pit bull of Dead by Daylight.
Guess so.
I did actually want to bring this up a little bit specifically because like
Okay.
okay, so little lore tidbit about me, some horceror for you. For the longest time, I was a League of Legends streamer. I know, cringe, sorry. I played Yorick, that was it, whole deal. I quit streaming for a little bit, and that was in like 2021-ish.
Okay.
Like early 2021. And I started being a Dead by Daylight streamer on June 25th because I had originally played it in 2017 for like 100 hours or so with my friends. Like that was our friend game for a while.
Okay.
And I saw a video in April of the same year, 2021, and I started like 2 months later, and the video was called, maybe you're familiar with this, it's called Why You Should Stream Dead by Daylight.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, you're probably catching the segue where I'm going with this.
I am.
This is a video from you, actually.
Yep.
For the longest time, I thought it was an S.T.A.R.S video that did it, but I went like looking for it, and he does not have one. So yeah, kind of in the same vein, like you are the reason that I am where I am now because of Dead by Daylight.
That's awesome. Well, I think we would like to thank the YouTube algorithm for that one, to be honest. But ultimately, yeah, I mean, that's fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah, and this was like a pretty small video by your standards.
It is. Yeah, it definitely is. Yeah.
I had to scroll so far down. It is in like the first 10 on your page.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I'm gonna pull that up here. I'm just genuinely curious. 5 years ago. Damn. Yeah, so yeah, that was I made that video, but this was like when I was like probably like a year and a half or 2 years into playing DVD, and I came from Overwatch. I first started streaming on Overwatch, and then I was introduced to this game, and there's nothing else like it, and like obviously there's you have negative experiences, but like when I first started playing the game was pretty positive. Like my Twitch viewers would come in, like I was able to like people were conversing and kind of teaching me how to play the game, and like we were talking about all different types of things, as opposed to like playing like a shooter game like Overwatch where you're just watching like two like big fucking T-bone steaks slap each other with fireworks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's true. Like if you don't know, like it's not a spectator game, but if you don't know what the fuck it is. So when I went to DVD, like I think it's like, a lot of people can like generally understand what's going on. That was generally the whole idea. What I was thinking of, like, hey, you should stream it because it's a very niche game. Yeah, and the community is not like super big. It was very welcoming for me, I guess is the point I'm trying to make when I first started.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the rest is kind of history, but that is cool. I appreciate that sharing with me. That's pretty awesome.
It was really cool because like that's how I got to like a big part of my life, because then like Dead by Daylight is also the first community that I felt like a member of a community in. Like I'm not gonna lie, like when I hit partner, like they told me like 30 minutes before stream, like that's when I got the email. I'm like, oh shit, okay, I'm crying today.
Cool.
So I streamed, I cried for 2.5 hours. It was awesome. But like DVD has been like the first time I felt like a part TM of a community, like rather than just like someone in a community.
Sure.
And like, yeah, it got me into horror in general. It got me into Resident Evil because I played the Nemesis in Hit Game DVD, going back on your point earlier. Like, I had never played a Resident Evil game, and it got me into Resident Evil. The rest is history, I guess. Now I'm the #1 Nemesis in the world. Very cool.
Fuck yeah. Cool, man. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad that I'm glad that you took that dive and gave it a shot, and let me look where you are now, right? Like, 5, 6 years later, interviewing me, and we're hanging out, chatting about stuff. It's cool, man.
Yeah, and I was just kind of like, I was already thinking about like streaming again. I just didn't really like League because there's like negative growth in League unless you make like YouTube videos, and I was very much like a go live and not make content type of creator.
Okay.
I was like, well, I kind of want to do something else, and then this video comes across my timeline. Wow, crazy! And then here I am.
Divine intervention, man.
Yeah, it's been cool. It's been like I was unironically like it came down because I was looking for something. It's like, hey, here's something. I'm like, oh shit, okay, awesome.
So I guess this is more of a question for you. Like, what do you want to do with this game?
Oh shit.
I hate to ask you this like very generic boomer ass question, but like, like 5 years down the road, do you want to be still playing DVD and making content for the game? Or
I mean, shit, I was gonna ask you this question later, so now I'm on the spot.
Oh, okay.
I mean, like I did say it a little earlier that I haven't played it in a while. I think the last time I played it was like Jason PTB.
Right.
Just like for a timeline type of deal, like roughly 2 months, 2.5 months around there. Just because like, all the aforementioned, like I made my video about how I would change the Nemesis. I got sad about it because like it's never fucking happening. Let's be real.
Yeah, the RPG's not happening, dude.
And then like the next video on like Dead by Daylight has a problem because like I had like a generational crash out because of getting Deliverance and Endgame in an already pretty shit game. And then Montreal, and then here I am, and I'm kind of just doing like Dead by Daylight adjacent stuff right now.
Okay.
Because I'm like taking a little bit of a break because also I heard the event was really bad and I didn't really want to go like, hey, here's my comeback, and then I'm having a worse time.
Right.
So yeah, I'm kind of waiting for a little bit. I'm doing adjacent stuff to DBD. Like right now I'm doing like a full deep dive into where every add-on for the Resident Evil killers comes from because I think it's cool.
Cool.
It's one of my like most in-depth videos so far. Hashtag self-promo. But
Nice.
as far as like in 5 years, yeah, I have no idea. I think like the dream for like every creator is just like do whatever you want and your audience will like it, right? Like
Sure. Yeah.
that's like the end goal. Sure, it's like I can make like a 3-hour video on some game I played in 2004 and everyone will be like, yeah, this is awesome, 3 billion views. Like
Yeah.
cool, yeah, okay.
Yep. Absolutely.
So like for the most part I'm kind of doing DBD stuff, but I haven't like played it in a bit, so I actually don't know. I don't know.
Fair enough. That's the reason why I was curious is because you had said that you haven't played in a while. So I was just curious if like that is something that if you were like maybe like this break, because obviously like there's a lot of things you can learn about yourself when you like kind of like cut off something like for a while, right? Like
Yeah.
maybe you find interest in something else or stuff like that. So I was just genuinely curious.
I mean, I think I'm pretty good at Deadlock, but I don't know if that's going anywhere because I haven't content created anything for it, but maybe eventually.
Not 30 yet. You figured out.
Is that like the cutoff point for dying?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh man.
I'm actually a ghost, by the way. I died in my 30s.
Oh yeah, no, I did see that in your like little icon guy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, it's true. But yeah, no, I don't know. Like I have a bunch of stuff I'm passionate about that I would like to do like longer form stuff for.
Go.
I just need to find the time. I'm actually doing like a Silent Hill something here soon TM. Like I'm working with my friend who's like a really big Silent Hill enjoyer, and we're gonna like write it, and then I make the video, and then bada bing bada boom, team effort, whatever.
Dope.
Yeah. So like the big question for every creator that I just answer for myself at least, like with my own boomer ass question of where do you see yourself in 5 years is like,
Sure.
As far as content creation goes, do you have like an ultimate end game for content wise? Like, is there a white whale you're chasing? Is there like some goal that would be like, okay, like I'm satisfied as a creative and now it's just a job? Or is it just like something that you're truly passionate about that you enjoy doing and could probably see yourself doing until you die?
Yeah, I mean, I think yes and no. Is there? I think the biggest thing with like people that like do content creation, especially ones that are full time, is just like finding like sustainability. That's the biggest fear. Like that's the biggest thing that is going to put any of your big dreams or big ambitions on hold for a little bit, is being able to make sure that you can just survive while doing this.
Yeah.
For me, I'm not going to be in DVD forever. Like I don't know, because I know eventually that like that ship will sail. And this is like the age thing. This is what I was talking about you. And I was saying like, how I wish like I started when I was younger too. Cause it's true. I don't know how many more years I got left in terms of being someone that could potentially be like maybe heavily relied on in terms of like people to watch my videos and stuff like that, because I'm getting older. Maybe people may look at me and go, oh, this dude's 40. Like, no, I'm going to go watch like, the young whippersnapper that's 20 years old that, is better and faster in the game than I am, which is true, So I don't know. But like on the flip side, like my audience, like as I age, my audience also ages with me, right? Like, so it really all depends on if they want to watch me as a personality as opposed to someone that's, because I'm not like super cracked at the game. I'm very above average, but like I'm not anywhere like towards like super fucking insane. I make mistakes all the time.
And I guess that is like a concern, because I will say like when I was like a 10-year-old or something, like there's definitely YouTubers I watch that I would not watch now,
Yeah, I get it.
Their content would stay the same to stay in that meta, and like I grew up or whatever, but like it may be a little bit less so with Dead by Daylight, because it is already like you're supposed to be an adult if you want to play it, at least. So it's like one of those things where like your audience will genuinely skew more maturely, so there'd be that whole like, I mean, even in DVD, like you don't have to be like the number one at something to find success. Like there's plenty of people that are just there for their personalities, and like I'm not saying you're just a personality quality high or anything. Like, you are above average, as you said, but like, you're like a really chill dude to talk to and sit in the chat of. So like, I don't think that should be as big of a worry for you, because you're real chiller, you know.
I appreciate that. I appreciate it. It's for me, it's just like, because it's like, what do you do? Like, and I think a lot of people don't like really see what kind of happens behind the scenes in terms of being like a full-time creator or whatever it is. Like, if the game dies, like, you have to like have
a pivot. You
gotta have a pivot. Like, the game's not just gonna like one day just fucking like, it's not gonna Spirit Airlines just close up shop. It's not gonna happen. It's like, you know, it'll be a slow burn until eventually like they'll stop doing like, and who fucking knows? This may be 10 years from now where they eventually just like, yeah, you know, we're gonna stop live service or whatever, and this is the last patch, or like how games go to the graveyard and die. But I don't want to be there, you know, in my mid 40s, like, and then not have a way to pivot into something else. I do like being creative. So my goal, I guess, to answer your first question, is like my other channel, is my other YouTube channel. And don't get me wrong, like I didn't have to grow that channel from like the ground up. I had a big foot in the door because I already have a big YouTube channel with the SpookyLoopz stuff. So my alt channel it's called Slimer, and I do like movie reviews. But the problem is I neglect the living fuck out of it. I upload like once every 4 or 5 months. And that's because it's a time restraint thing for me. Those videos take obviously a lot longer than like Dead by Daylight, for instance. Like DVD, I just like, the content is the game. The content is me talking and playing the game and what I'm doing in the game and stuff like that. As opposed to like, you know, a alt channel where I'm, you know, dissecting a movie or a horror movie, whatever, and I have to like build every single scene because I use a green screen and shit like that. Like, that takes time that I just don't have.
And you have to analyze things and think instead of just like, here's my gameplay.
Sure. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Here's my wacky sound effect.
Yep, pretty much. That's exactly what it is.
And then boom.
So, to be completely honest with you, I thought that this was going to be my last year streaming, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I was having a hard time, you know, obviously with the introduction of our child, is like, how do I maintain like the main YouTube channel and then also like have time to like build my alt channel?
The work-life balance deal, yeah.
Because like the goal is to eventually like lay the channel to rest and then have my other channel where I can talk about movies and talk about fun things that are not like essentially just directly tied to like Dead by Daylight or some ASIM or some shit like that, you know?
Yeah.
That's what I want to be able to do. And I've had like a small taste of it. Like, I've had some success in some of the videos. And what's really interesting too is because like, you know, gaming is a very niche like category on YouTube. Like, a lot of people, it's like one of the smaller ones, believe it or not. So like with YouTube, like when you make a thing where like, you know, let's say it's like a video essay or a commentary video about a specific topic, it just hits like such a bigger audience because like, you know, there's all different walks of life that may be interested in that video as opposed to someone that only likes scary, you know, hide and seek chase me videos like in DBD, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I'd like to do. Like, you know, if I could in 10 years, what I'd like to be doing is I'd like to be able to like obviously like take my SpookyLoopz channel and transition it into maybe like a little bit of like a let's play a little bit where I can like just cover a bunch of like scary videos and kind of like, you know, John Wolf and how we did that and shit. And then have my other channel be like my main channel where I can just like, you know, talk and cover about whatever I want and stuff like that. And then eventually I would like to do stand up. I think that'd be fun. That's kind of like late game shit, but like, I think that'd be a good time and something I'd like to do, to be honest. But who knows, man? You know, who knows? It's fucking scary, dude. Because you never know, like, if like one day, like, it's just DVD, just eventually the people just lose interest, and then it's just like, well, shit, man, I'm already unemployed. I can't be unemployed again. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I think it gets to a point where like it is employed. It's just like self-employed. It's like that's only if you want to put a label on it, really. I don't. Mm-hmm. It's if labels matter to you type of deal rather than something that. What am I trying to say?
People are gonna say what they're gonna say. I mean, it's just there's a whole different conversation. But there's, you know, obviously a whole bunch of people out there that just don't like people that stream, you know, or make videos or whatever, and whatever, man. You know, that is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, like you'll see like a post where it's like, imagine giving money to a streamer or something, and it's like,
sure.
Yeah, okay. Like maybe to a point to someone that like has like 50,000 viewers or something, but like there's a gray area to everything. Oh my God, that's so crazy. Yeah,
man. That's what I want to do is just try to like with DVD, like is making content for the game. Like when we go through droughts and shit, like 2v8, like that shit. Oh my God, is like the worst. There's nothing to talk about. You know what I mean? It's just like, hey, look at 2v8, and they added a new flashlight class, and then queues are 25 fucking minutes. You know, like,
yeah, this is so cool.
Shit like that. Yeah, blah 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 blah.
Yeah, I mean, sure, you can do a collab stream, and that's always fun, but like,
Mhm.
it. Oh my god, 2v8.
Yeah.
I'm not getting started on 2v8. I'm not touching it with a 10-foot pole. I get why it's popular. It's just so boring to me. I'm just like,
Mhm.
my killer's already shit, and then I don't even start in tier 2 in the mode of 300,000 pallets. Oh my god.
Hey, you got 4 zombies though, man. You got 4 zombies, bro.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine, but they're like info, and that's it. And then it's just like, whatever.
So yeah, it's kind of, I don't know. That's where I'm at, and I don't know if that's the answer you're looking for, but that's kind of where I'm at. Is just like, you know, like I want to obviously provide for my family and stuff like that, you know, but also like I don't want to give up on, you know, me being my creative side of me, which is what I really enjoy doing, is, you know, trying to make stuff that, you know, because it's a rewarding feeling, as you know, like putting effort into a video and like, you know, getting a certain message you want across and then having people respond positively to that. It's a nice feeling, you know, they go like, oh, wow, this got a lot of views. A lot of people on planet Earth watch this video, you know?
Yeah, it's still kind of
So,
crazy to think about. Like, I remember, like, my first, like, big video TM, like, for me, at least, when I was, like, 100 sub Andy or something on YouTube.
mhm.
My first big video was my Nemesis guide, right?
Okay.
Because, like, I was, like, I think, like, number 4 in the world or something, and no one had ever really done a Nemesis guide, like, to that level.
Yep.
So I put in a lot of effort on it, and I think it got, like, 10,000 views in a day, which, for me, was crazy. And, like, it was, like, 3 a.m. or something. Like, I was refreshing the page to see the view count go up on my analytics.
Yeah.
And like it hit 10K, like I cried and I went to bed. Like it was a really emotional thing for me. It was like, that's a lot of people, you know? Like,
Yeah, man.
I think I've been to like a stadium for like a hockey game, and it was like a 5,000 person stadium, right? Which is like big. And then I was thinking about it on like the numbers and like the community. It's like every one of those numbers is a person.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people. Like,
It is a lot of people.
I know we were talking about, like, yeah, there's like billions and billions of people on the planet, but like the sheer vastness of like something with a number like that, and you're like, oh, I mean, this is a pretty small creator that they only have like 1,000 followers or something. Like, that's still a lot of people that go out of their way to choose to be like interested in your stuff, you know? And
Absolutely.
it's very like humbling when you think about it for more than 2 seconds. It's like, yeah, I hit 10K on YouTube like a month ago or something, and like, damn, you know, damn.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Like, holy shit, there's a lot of people here.
What I would recommend for you to do is to like try to remember what that feeling is like, and then like use that as like a way to motivate yourself to like want to keep doing more and bigger things and stuff like that, because it only gets better. Like, you know what I mean? Like, cause you're right now, like, but this is not just for you. This is for anyone that's like wants to make YouTube stuff, like, or especially like in the DVD space, is just like you're like right now you're kind of like in the place where you're kind of found your footing and you're going stuff like that. But there's like so much cool shit you can do. Like, sky's the limit with that stuff, and you can make something that has never been seen before. And it's really cool when people, you know, like you said, see all those views, like, wow, it's a lot of fucking people that watch this. That's pretty cool. You had that influence on, like, so you made somebody, you took a part of their time that they're never getting back, you know what I mean? Which is kind of insane.
Yeah, and then like one day you'll be like, oh yeah, you're the reason I started streaming, or you're the reason I started making videos, and like,
Sure.
or they recognize you when they play against you and they're like freaking out, and like maybe it's a humble thing, I don't know, but like genuinely, because I like watching back other streamers' VODs, and like hearing reactions is really cool. And like, sure, every once in a while you'll be like, oh, this fucking guy again, whatever, like I'm tired of getting whip dragged from like 10 feet away, whatever. But like, and then you'll be like, holy shit, it's horceror, and I'm like, me?
Yep.
Like, it's still so bizarre to me that like I go into a Twitch chat and I'll just have people I've never interacted with, to my knowledge, being like, holy shit, hey man, how are you doing? I'm like, oh my god, me? And like that's really cool. Like, it's really cool being a part of a community and like having built a community off of something as niche as gaming and a horror-based asymmetrical tag game in gaming, you know?
Yep. That's dope, man.
Like, it's cool as fuck, and like I enjoy having the creative process. Like, I think it's cool. I don't really have like a plan. Like, I don't And like no flack to anyone that does, obviously. I'm not like a meta adherer in any shape or form of the word. Like I play B tiers my whole life, and it kind of goes in my content creation too. I'm just like, what would I watch? What would be cool to me? And then I make it. And then there you go.
There you go. Cool, man.
And like the video I made on, I know I keep bringing this up, but I'm really proud of this one. It's probably my favorite one so far. But like my video on how I would fix the Dead by Daylight nemesis and like make it more in line with the Resident Evil nemesis, because I'm a Resident Evil fan.
Yep.
Like that's my second most popular video ever. And when I made it, I was just sitting there like, I'd be happy if this hits 10K, right? Because that's like a pretty good baseline, I would say. It's like okay. And then like it has like 12 times that. I'm like, holy shit, okay.
Yeah, dude.
Because like I put so much work in that. It took me like actually 3 straight weeks, because I think I had something like 170 different clips I had to record for it.
No, I've watched it. It's a good video, as I'll say. I've watched it.
That's also so crazy to me, because like you were saying earlier about like getting recognized by people you look up to or people you followed for years or stuff like that. It's like, oh yeah, I watch your videos. And then like when I was reaching out to Min Skull, he's always been like, yeah, I've always really liked your videos too. I'm like, where are you people coming from? I didn't know you were here.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's so cool to me.
There's a lot of there's a lot of like DVD content. I don't consume a whole lot of it when I'm like kind of unplugging for the day, but
yeah,
good conversation topics and stuff like that, like conversation pieces and things that people are suggesting are like, obviously like I don't like the drama slop shit, but things that are like constructive about the game I find fascinating. So that was one of the videos I first saw of yours, was that one.
The worst new player experience in gaming.
Yes, that was the first one. That was 1 year ago. So that one, because I watched the entire thing from my desktop, and then I went upstairs. Because sometimes I'll just do for watch later, and then I'll go when I'm laying in bed, I'll put something on that I wanted to watch later.
Yeah.
So yeah, that one was a good one. Obviously, like the one where you had talked about, is it the Dead by Daylight as a problem? Yeah, that's the RPD one.
Yeah.
I watched that one twice. I don't know why. Well, I watched it once, and then I remember I was like, it was like the next day or something like that, and I was like, I'm gonna watch it again. Because it's interesting, because I feel like even for me, like someone that's been playing the game for a long time, or has a rather large size following on YouTube, like I still resonate with that shit. You know what I mean? That pisses me off. You know what I mean? So like that's why I watched it again. But yeah, man, it's fucking there's a lot of like a lot of hidden gems that are in there. I mean, your channel's like 10K subs, but dude, I mean it just goes to show that if you make stuff that people want to watch, you're gonna get rewarded for it. You're gonna get views for it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's just really cool. Like hearing, like you're just a chill dude to talk to. Like when actually, I wanted to talk about this. So context for people that obviously are not you or I. I had been trying to get SpookyLoopz for a while, but like he probably gets a lot of Discord requests. So I sent one like a while back and didn't hear a reply. So like when we met in person, I'm like, hey, actually, can you like send me a friend request? Because I've been trying to get you on this series for a while.
Yeah.
And he sent me one, and I didn't do this in the moment. It would have been so smart. But like when you sent it over, I should have screenshotted it and then tweeted it and said, should I make this fan's day?
Yeah.
It would have been so funny. I didn't do it.
Oh man.
But like that's how I got to this point. And like it was really cool, like going to Montreal and meeting everyone in person. And
yeah, it was cool.
Hens being 6'5", like when he saw me in person, he was like, I thought you'd be taller. And like I'm like 6'2" and a half. I'm like, damn, okay. Like how much bigger can I get?
Yeah, Hens is slender, man. He's just like any picture that was taken at the event, he's just somehow in the background of all of them. He literally is the German slender man. 7 pages.
Sorry, do that again?
This is 7 pages. What is it? I don't know. I've never played Slender Man. I don't know. There are 8 pages scattered around this forest.
Collect my pages.
Collect my pages. I'll find out. I hope you find it.
Oh my god, like that is uncanny. That's really good.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
He's a funny guy. Oh shit. All right, what else you got for me, man?
I am kind of running out of questions that I actually feel would be good to ask. So I'm kind of going to go back to Montreal because I feel like that's just kind of a good point for it. We talked about art earlier.
Sure.
And that was like the end of the year 10 celebration for the trip, at least.
Yeah.
Montreal happened this year, 2026. It was the 10-year celebration of Dead by Daylight. We got the event right after with Jason, and they revealed so much shit. I was there on the board, like right after the zombies were shown, like, hey, we're doing a zombies mode, and then they panned to me. I'm like,
yeah, I remember. Yeah.
I bet Dork was behind this. I don't have proof, but I can put my money on that one. And like that was probably like one of the highlights of my life, if not the highlight of my life. Like that whole trip,
Being recognized.
very magical experience. But I'm kind of getting off track. So the Montreal experience, the 10-year experience, the 10-year anniversary, kind of a big deal for a live service game like Dead by Daylight. And you know, we've been here for thousands and thousands and thousands. Like some people even have over 10,000 hours in DVD at this point.
Right.
So it's been going for quite some time.
Mm-hmm. It has been.
So in general, like maybe this is also a boomer ass question, but how long do you think Dead by Daylight's gonna last, and or what would make you quit the game if there was like a line in the sand that you have drawn?
I mean, it would have to be something like, I don't know, because I mean, like I identify with the killer role a lot more than Survivor, because I like that gameplay loop, right? Like it would have to be something along the lines where they just legitimately made it miserable, like actually miserable for everybody. But I don't think they're gonna do that, because you don't have a game without killers to play it, right? So I don't know. It's hard to tell. I mean, like, I don't know. They give fucking Ghostface stock decay or something. Like, yeah, that'd probably be the it for me on that character for sure. But in terms of like actually leaving the game, for me, it would have to be a legendary fumble by them for me to be like, okay, well, fuck this, I'm leaving. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go somewhere else. I'm not sure. I mean, like, and in terms of like how long is it gonna be until it like dies? I don't know. I mean, like, there's still people that play like the Friday the 13th, like off, like, you know, like on private servers and shit. Like, I don't know. What do we define as a dead game? You know, like what do you think? Like less than 1,000 concurrent players? What do you think?
Like no more updates probably would be.
No more updates, sure. Yeah, that would make sense. I don't see that happening, man. I just don't. Like, here's the biggest thing. Like, you can bring like the new Halloween game and the new Saw game, and they're probably going to be fun. They're probably going to be a good time, and I think a lot of people will enjoy them because they get to take a break from Dead by Daylight, but also like kind of like still play something that feels like familiar, you know?
Yeah.
But like those games like are just shackled to the license, you know what I mean? Like how much can they really grow from there? DVD always has that up on everybody else because, like, again, back to what we originally talked about, like they have like the Fortnite of horror, dude. They have all different variety, and you know, like I think that's what keeps people coming back. And eventually, they'll keep shaking stuff up and adding new stuff, and then nerfing or buffing things. And all that kind of stuff, and new events and shit. Obviously, that like spike player count and stuff like that. But the point I'm trying to make is there's nothing out there that's like it that is successful. To be honest, in my understanding, or as successful as DVD. You know?
Yeah, every other competition that's like even had a startup has shot themselves in the foot or died at some point. So
sure. And
I would love for Dead by Daylight to have more competition so that the game can thrive more, but
yeah,
still waiting on that one.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't know, like, you know, you do like a comparison between like Overwatch and Marvel Rivals, and how like, you know, like Overwatch was kind of like, you know, the king of the hero shooter games and stuff like that, and Rivals came along, and you know, I hate the game, but they came along and they, you know, did some, they stole a lot of their, you know, a lot of their volume from Blizzard. So maybe they started putting more shit into it, and I don't know, like actually giving some worthy updates, and people like kind of gravitated back towards it. I think that's a good health balance, to be honest, to be able to like have another game that like, hey, you start paying attention to us, or else we're just going to go somewhere else. Because without competition, you're right, like there's no real fire under anyone's ass other than like, you know, a drop in sales, I guess.
Yeah, it's because like if you play DVD and you don't want to play DVD, like what are you playing that's like DVD?
You don't.
You know, like
there's nothing. Killer Clowns, dude. Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Oh yeah, I think their concurrent count is like 6.
Yeah, I went and checked, and I was just curious one day, and I went and checked like the Twitch category. There was one guy streaming it. And it was like a, you know, brand new streamer. 2 viewers play Killer Clowns. I'm like, oh fuck, dude, save this guy, man.
I mean, he's already monopolized the category. That's the GOAT.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You know what? That is true. He's fast tracked his way to the top for sure. Yeah, man, I don't know. Like, they would have to do something that would just put such a really bad taste in my mouth where I'm just like, well, fuck this. Like, I'm out of here. I'm going to go invest my time and, you know, my efforts into something else. But for now, I mean, like, yeah, I think like there needs to be some things, if we can like summarize this entire conversation, there needs to be things that need to be addressed. There needs to be looked at. So you can make sure that, like, you know, it's not just one size experience versus the other, you know, and that goes both ways. It should be a thing where both people want to be incentivized to play the game together. And that's something that needs to be looked at.
Like adding more carrots for being a positive member of society.
Sure. Yeah. Well, however you want to spin it. Yeah. Like you want to make it so that, you know, if you like playing killer, like you feel like your time is going to be valued. Hey, like I'm playing a game, I want to be able to like leave a game, go, I had a good experience with that, as opposed to feeling like I just aged fucking 20 years, you know?
Yeah, because I feel like there's not really a carrot and there's not really a stick either. It's just kind of Wild West, as we've kept saying.
Yep, pretty much. So that kind of stuff, like they would, I mean, they would have to do something crazy, like to the point where they would have to like essentially make the killer role obsolete, and then I would just not play anymore. Other than that, it would just be me. That'd be just everybody else too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's just not going to happen because, like, you know, that goes against their core foundation of what the game is. So for me personally, again, sorry to ramble, but for me personally, I think it'd be something along the lines of where I just feel like my time in the sun with this game has ended. You know?
Yeah.
And it's time for me to like move on to different things because, you know, I am getting fucking old, dude. So, yeah.
I don't think you're old.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it, but I am. Yeah, I mean,
you're still on the younger half of life.
Thanks, dude. Yeah, for now. Do you hear like celebrities like, oh, so and so celebrity died at 55? I'm like, oh my god, fuck, it's in like 20 years, dude. Like, holy shit, 15 years. What are we talking about? Oh my god, it's over.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I mean, time comes for us all.
True.
It's not so much about the time we're here, but the quality of the time we're here.
Good point. Yeah, very true. Yeah, that's base. Yeah, I agree.
So as long as you're enjoying it, I think that's what I mean. Obviously, like I'd love to live to 100. I probably will out of spite. Like that's just like my biggest. Like I'm just like, yeah, I don't really care. I'm not gonna live to 83. I'm gonna live to like 115 or some shit because fuck y'all. And like I'll be doing this shit till like 2100. You know, like I could genuinely see that. I think that'd be funny.
Good luck, man.
But yeah, it's kind of been all but yeah, that's kind of all I have to really talk about.
Okay.
I want to say, thank you for coming on Stars of the Fog.
Yeah, of course.
As a star of the Fog.
Stars of the Fog. Love Stars of the Fog.
And talking to me about about hit game Dead by Daylight.
Love Dead by Daylight.
Well, yeah, this has been SpookyLoopz. So now this little end segment, I usually just let the guests share all their links, anything they want to talk about, anything they want to self-promo. So go for it.
Yeah, man. SpookyLoopz on Twitch and YouTube. That's it. I don't got really anything else. Fuck Twitter, man. All that stuff.
And thank you again.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. And to the viewer, thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting me.
Oh, we're still recording it. Oh, thank you guys. Yeah, everyone go sub. Go sub to him.
I can do the outro again. Don't worry.
If you're, I got it. If you're watching him and you're not subbed, you're a little bitch. Just get it fixed. Just get it fixed.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Helps me out very much. Go check out SpookyLoopz. No, I don't say that. But have a good rest of your day, morning, noon, evening, night, whatever it might be, wherever you might be, and whenever it might be. Catch you in the next one. Thank you for being here.
Of course.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.